Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. This is Colin Boyer, your Pennsylvania and Maryland realtor, but today we are not talking about Pennsylvania or Maryland. We are reacting to the Realtor subreddit, and I am going to share my opinions and give tips based on what this information has, questions people shared, and stories they shared. I am not your realtor, unless obviously you are one of my clients, so please do not take my advice as the perspective of your realtor because I don't know your situation. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps out with the video, and let's get started and reacting to these Reddit posts. And the first one is, a top producer from my own office stole my listing. How do I prevent this from happening in the future? So I read through this story, and basically what happened was this person was talking with a client, a homeowner, and was nurturing them and giving them CMAs, which was a cost market analysis, and just kind of letting them know what their home's worth and getting their home prepared to get it listed. Agents, I cannot stress this enough, and clients, you'll be able to listen to this part too, is if you do not have anything signed with a client, they're not your client. They're just somebody that you've talked to about real estate. They are a prospect. You are not actively working with them if you do not have a signed buyer's agency agreement or a signed listing agreement to actively work with them. So, as real estate agents or as any person that's going to be working on a commission or selling anything, the person you're working with or looking forward to working with does not owe you anything unless you are under contract and have an exclusive agreement to represent them. So the way to avoid this in the future is get contracts signed. Make sure you have that conversation. It's never too early to have that contract conversation. The next post from the Realtor subreddit is, this Realtor sub is scary, but it's reality. And I could not agree more. What this user is talking about is basically the questions that are being asked are scary for clients because a lot of realtors have no clue what's going on. They do not know the basics of a lot of their contracts or what to do during a transaction. So they're coming to Reddit, not their broker. They are coming to Reddit and asking these questions on what to do during a transaction. As a client, you want to know you are not being represented by Reddit. You are being represented by an agent that knows what they're doing. So, clients, when you are looking to buy or sell a home, make sure you're talking to an agent that knows what they're doing. If they feel lost or you notice they're lost and they just have absolutely no clue on any answers or what you're looking to do, make sure you find somebody who knows what they're doing. Or, the good news for you is if you are looking for somebody to help you buy or sell a home, click the link down in my bio and we can help you, or we can introduce you to a wonderful agent no matter where you're at in the world. And our third post in the Realtor subreddit is, other agent refused to present my offer. This one's a complicated one. Pause the video and read through this post, and let's reconnect after you read it to get your opinions. And now that you read the post, I'm going to share what I think of this. So first off, as agents, we sign agreements with our sellers that say whenever an offer comes in, we are obligated to present it. And the contracts where offers come in, they say what the deadline is to review offers. Now, after reading through and based on my opinion, this is something called a bully offer. If they had a deadline set and you submit something without having a conversation with the agent. It's a completely different story if I call Shane and I say, hey Shane, I know you have a deadline set for 123 Main Street for tomorrow at 7 p.m. Do you think with this offer I would be able to get a response today? Now, Shane can either call his seller and talk to his client, see if that makes sense, and they accept it or counter it, or they get back and say, hey, the seller does not care about the offer. It could be X, Y, or Z, and they won't do it. They have a strict deadline set for tomorrow. So that's the seller's response. Get it back to me with the terms set in our MLS remarks. So this is something called a bully offer, where basically they wrote up the offer, submitted it, completely ignored what the items and the attachments and details were supposed to be in the MLS, and they just submitted it and tried to bully them into getting an answer from the seller. Now, I completely agree with the part of, hey, you've got to present the offer, but as an agent, you've got to have the conversation of, hey, we are probably going to get a couple offers. Somebody may ask us to review offers prior to our deadline. We have to either be strict and tell them we're going to wait, or we can accept it before. The deadline does not mean anything. You can accept an offer whenever you want. You just might have some angry buyer's agents. In my opinion, the seller's agent and the buyer's agent both did something a little bit wrong. The seller's agent should have had a conversation with their seller, and the buyer's agent should have had a conversation with the seller's agent before they submitted the offer. The next post is going to make some agents mad, and that is Realtor out of town now upset that I made an offer with another Realtor. So if you read through this one, this client is sharing his story on why his Realtor got upset when his Realtor went out of town. The buyer saw a property that they just could not pass up, went out to see the property with their friend, and they ended up writing an offer and getting a contract accepted. So with breaking this down a little bit, one, we just want to make sure that the buyer does not have an agreement with that buyer's agent, because it could cause a little bit of legal complications where he may still have to pay that buyer's agent, but there could always be some arguments against it because the agent went out of town and did not give a backup agent. Me being on a team, I could not even imagine going out of town and not making sure I have someone to cover my showings or help my clients, especially if I'm going somewhere with absolutely no service. The last thing I want is this to happen, where maybe even it's not about me getting paid, but somebody not getting the home they want, and they are absolutely frustrated with me and leave bad reviews and not happy, and their family lost out on the home that made the most sense for them after they've been looking for houses for a while. So if the Realtor went out of town and had a backup agent or had somebody to cover the appointments, then I would completely agree that the Realtor has the right to be mad, especially if they had an agreement signed. But if you didn't have an agreement signed and you were just completely not responding and didn't have a backup agent, then I can see where it makes sense for this client, because they were not being serviced as a client how they should be. The next Reddit post is talking about benefits of using a Realtor if buying from a developer, or here locally we call them builders. So some people call them builders, developers. It's mix and match, and you'll especially hear it different depending on where you go in the US or in the world. So some of the benefits, honestly, of using a Realtor if buying from a builder or developer is Realtors know what the process is, where some builders try and get one over on you, and what builders typically do a better job than others. So for some examples is, if you go to a new construction community, the odds are, surprise, it is your lucky day. The builder is having a sale, and any upgrades you make, you are getting 15% off. They run those specials all the time. There's not any hidden thing that sometimes they try and run those specials to get you to buy quicker, but most of the times they're going to continue running. There's not a good bit of sales. They're running them almost constantly while the community is open. So looking through those upgrades, an agent who especially has a background in construction or what renovations are costing, they're probably going to tell you what upgrades are worth it to do and what upgrades make absolutely no sense. I know I have seen some builders who are trying to charge $80,000 to renovate a basement or to finish off a basement, when you could complete it for 25% of that price and save a ton of money instead of paying the builder to do it. Or they're going to be able to review the contracts for you. There's a lot of builders who build into their contract, if you do not follow X, Y, and Z and do it absolutely to the T, you can lose your deposit money if you back out, where a Realtor is going to be able to read through that, make sure you're protected, not losing your deposit money, and you're going to get get that back if anything were to happen. A builder is going to urge you to not do inspections on a new build, when a lot of people actually prefer to. A builder's just going to say, hey, no, sorry, where a realtor can fight for you. And most people do not know that realtors are typically able to get a good negotiation in where you can get additional closing costs, or you can get an even lower price than the builder's advertising. In this market, especially right now, we've been able to negotiate with builders to get more than the incentives that they're advertising, and sometimes bringing almost nothing to closing. And the next post is what to do about an unfavorable FHA appraisal, and this is basically going through a nightmare appraisal that happened. And what happened is, it looks like this guy bought the home about 2 years ago using an FHA appraisal or using an FHA loan, and his appraiser counted certain square footage upstairs which was an attic conversion that counts as finished area. And what is crazy is this post was just about 2 weeks ago, and a little while back they changed the rules on what counts as livable square footage. I want to say it's maybe about a 7-foot ceiling or somewhere around there. It has to be above a certain height to consider it livable, just because it prevents fire hazards, it prevents you from having to do certain things with the home to make it a little bit more safe. So they just do not consider it living space, and it is affecting a lot of appraisals, especially in old farmhouses. You walk upstairs, sometimes those are only 6.5 feet tall in the bedrooms, and some appraisers are not counting this as square footage. Now, if we were ignoring the fact that this was an FHA appraisal and it was just a regular appraisal, and it had nothing to do with square footage or anything like that, but the value still came in completely different, there are good and bad appraisers. Not every appraiser is going to come up with the same value, and there are certain appraisers that I would never let appraise my house because they are known to not do a great job. So we're going to want to make sure that we have a solid appraisal management company with solid appraisers. No, you can't pick your appraiser. Don't ever think that. You can't pick who's going to appraise your house, but being an agent, you typically know who's good and who's bad. And the last Reddit post we're going to talk about today is from a buyer who's asking, a quick question to you all, is it atypical for realtors to show homes on weeknights after most folks get done with work, like 7 p.m.? First time home buyer here, I just feel like I'm always scrambling to fit in viewings around my realtor's schedule. Can elaborate more if needed. And being a realtor and in the field and doing probably around 70 homes this year independently, and our team selling even way more than that altogether, is a lot of the times I'm out in the evenings and the weekends. I did not get back one day this week until 8:45 p.m. because I was out showing houses during a weekday, not a weekend. Most people have availability whenever they get off work. If you're a realtor or you're not able to make it out to appointments, or you're a client and you feel bad for asking your realtor to go see a home at 6:30, 7 o'clock, if that's what you can do, that's what you can do. You don't have the option to leave work like a realtor does to get out at an earlier time. It is very common, and a good agent will make sure you get into the house whether they can make it or not. If I can't make a showing, or I'm away for a weekend like a couple weeks ago where I was in New York, I had an agent on my team who was able to cover it for me. But a lot of the times, like this weekend, I'm going to be completely booked up, and I'm going to take people out to see houses. Do not feel bad if you have to make it out at a strange time. That is what a realtor's job is. Thank you guys so much for watching me react to Reddit videos. If you like this video and want to see more, don't forget to like and comment down below, or if you find any posts or anything you would like me to talk about, comment that down below as well, and I will make a video on them. Again, my name is Collin Boyer, and if we can help you buy or sell a home anywhere in the country, check the link down in my bio and reach out to us, and we can refer you to a great agent, or we can work with you ourselves. And if you are an agent and you are looking to join a team or a brokerage that's going to make sure you are living up to your standards and you're accomplishing what you're hoping to accomplish, click down below as well. We'd love you to join the team, and I'll see you guys on the next one.